Put.
Are you using a mic?
All right, we are live. What's going on, guys? To another episode of Finest Purpose. My name is Ilya Kaz, also known as the Investor Cop, a retired New York City police officer. And these talks, we help you guys get off the job and into real estate with my co-host Lenny Bradley.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Lenny Bradley, as Ilya just said. A New York City, recently retired New York City um, member of service. Did 17 years within the New York City Police Department, and I was able to leave early before full pension by way of wholesaling real estate and investing into real estate.
Let's go. So, tonight's topic, real estate and the election.
Real estate and the election. Oof.
Yep. A
Yeah,
lot of people
you're
are
gonna.
reaching out, man, to asking that, like, yo, what's gonna happen with this? It's an election year. What really happens during this? Does it affect your market and all the and questions like that? And I thought it would be a good topic to speak about briefly, but also just the down season of real estate, right? Because it comes in cycles.
Right.
So, yeah, let me see. I'm just pulling up all the questions that we have.
You went silent. No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had the mute button on. Did not realize it. But we were talking about the election and real estate briefly about it.
Yeah, so no, that's good. That's a good topic. You're gonna have to spearhead this one because when it comes down to the election, honestly, I just kind of plug my ears up. But it is essential to know what's going on and what can happen as far as who is elected and how it could affect real estate or market. Something that is our livelihood.
Exactly, exactly. So, yeah, it's a good topic because today's election day. A lot of people are voting. People voting Kamala. People voting Trump. They're all freaking out. We have a lot of homeowners who don't want to sell their property because they're like, I have to see what happens because depending on it, a lot of like the web forms we got, and it says like reason for selling. There are people like moving out of country, right? Just relocating to another part of the world, and it's like that's strange to see, but people are literally taking the election so serious where they're moving out of the country. And yeah, that's what's happening here. And I remember also back in 2020, there was a seller in Las Vegas, and he said he's like, if Biden wins, I'm moving out. I'm gonna move to Costa Rica. And he ended up selling this multifamily house that he had in Las Vegas, sold that property to us, and moved to Costa Rica because he was so angry that Biden won, and he didn't want to follow his policies. So most certainly, the election has a lot to do with people's decisions when it comes to selling, moving, or even buying properties.
Right.
Different tax codes come out, depends who's in office. People get tax breaks and incentives, and other people they put harsher penalties on people who are, let's say, investing or flipping homes. So all that stuff plays out, and I've seen Trump, I've seen Biden, and now it's like let's see what's going to happen, right? Obviously, when Trump was in office, whole people were pissed. Also, they were like, oh, like like they were angry about it. You could no longer speak to somebody and say, "Oh man, oh you're a landlord, Mr. Seller. That's awesome. You're gonna be the next Donald Trump," right? As a joke, like an icebreaker. Now they were taking it serious, like, "Oh, I hate Trump. I didn't want him to win."
Yeah.
I
Right.
wanted Hillary. So it's
Right.
like, oh man, well, that was a good joke to use because Donald Trump was well known and he holds a lot of real estate. But unfortunately, that really got sensitive. So once again, we're at a time of the year where people are sensitive, people are upset, and yeah, here we are. So let me see. So that it does really affect it. It does really affect it. I don't see the comments here. I'm not sure why they're not showing up. All right, here we got. That's from. Anybody has questions, guys, feel free to drop any comments. any
Does,
concerns, any questions.
does this link my Instagram page as well?
I don't know. I don't know if it's showing you live, to
Yeah,
be honest.
I don't think it does. Let me see.
If you can, though, let me see. I don't think it has the link. Let me see. There is something on Facebook too. So we get the comments. We can check them out in both directions there.
Yeah, I don't see you. I don't see you live on Instagram either.
That's so weird. It says it's live. It's streaming. Okay, there it is. I had to hit it here, but now we are live. Okay, I understand what's happening. All right, now we should be going. I know we're on YouTube. I see it on. I see it on
On Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I'm just trying to do 20 things at the same time. I see we have 3 viewers, one on YouTube, two on Facebook, which is awesome. I don't see the face. Okay. And now on Instagram, I think it might have got disconnected. Let me edit it and have it reconnect once again. Yep. All right. All right. So we should be good to go now. Instagram should be on.
I see it just popped up on Facebook.
Okay. Excellent. And now it's on Instagram too. Yep.
Good to go.
Yep. We're live. So pin election. Yep.
Let's see. Let's see you on Instagram. All right, I do see you on Instagram.
Okay.
Election. All right, cool. Good to go.
All right, good. So now we can continue where we left off, which was talking about the election. All right, there we go. We actually got people here. I'm not sure if Facebook has it living. Yep. Good afternoon, gentlemen. We got Devon in the comment section. Are you guys doing any wholesales in Pennsylvania? Yes, and the answer is yes. What's up, tough guy? We got Norby back up here. We got Mary here saying on Facebook, thank you, thank you, thank you. Everyone who's supporting, giving us the comments, the likes, we appreciate it. Just kind of, yeah, from YouTube, Facebook. I'm not sure why StreamYard's not showing all of them. It only shows more YouTube. But yeah, we are wholesaling in Pennsylvania. Still have old leads that I'm working. I spoke with somebody in Elizabethtown yesterday, and we're just trying to close those deals out. So yeah, that should be good. So we're talking about elections. We're talking about the election and
real estate.
Real estate.
How it affects it.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're probably gonna have to get the ball rolling when it comes down to this, and then I'll be able to add whatever based off of what you bring up. But off the top of my head, I would think that a lot of it depends on big thing. I would say is taxes, maybe tax break for businesses. Having a real estate business, as opposed to obviously with Trump, I would think that he would do a little bit more for businesses, right?
Yeah. I mean, when he won, like I said, everybody loved it because he was promoting business. He was promoting tax cuts, budget cuts, like promotions for small businesses to grow. And that's the benefit of having a businessman in office, right? He knows what's going on with business and how to um, like what they need and how to manipulate it for the benefits of the business owners, right? And it's
Yeah.
not to say manipulate as in taking advantage. You got right. If somebody's got a supermarket and they have 20 employees, there's 20 families now depending on that paycheck, right? That's a household of 20 people now, 20 families that are eating off of it. So to give an incentive to the business that's hiring those people, there's some insight behind it. There's some benefits in behind it, right? You started a company that's employing people. It's helping grow the local economy. You should get a break, right? In my eyes, because I'm an investor myself. I'm a real estate investor and also a business owner. If you're helping people, yep, there should definitely be a reward. Yeah, what's going on? We have Rebecca in here too. Well, if Trump wins, the market will explode again. I agree. I definitely agree. We got Norby in there.
I
He's
agree too.
absolutely right. Right?
I agree
What do you
too.
think?
I 100% agree.
We have
Um,
a lot of people sitting on the sidelines, man, just
yeah.
waiting to see what happens because they're scared, they're nervous.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are just sick of this economy. They're sick of seeing I mean, to
Inflation.
go to the grocery store, my regular bill is like double now. It's
Yeah.
insane. I think that people really want to see something change with the economy. And as far as when it comes down to it, I just don't see how Harris is going to help with that. To be quite
Yeah.
honest, I feel like she'll be following a lot of Biden's policies. So
Yeah, exactly. Hello, everybody. It's true, man. And there's a lot of things have to be played in with running a country, right? It's not just you're the president and okay, you're gonna make things better. How can you make things better if you don't even know how to speak, right? Like this guy's Joe, Sleepy Joe, is halfway out the door himself, right? And
yeah,
so, and for him to boost the economy and work and look, what is this? Look, in Rebecca, she's a good friend of mine. She runs a title company and she's saying the same thing. She's saying closing slow down till the election's over. So she works with the title company. Um, and she's feeling it, right? As investors, we have slowed down also. We're feeling it also. And Norby, he's a realtor too, and I can guarantee you that he's feeling it also. There's a slowdown. There's a slowdown, and there's people who are really just waiting to see what's going to happen next.
yeah. I talked to a seller today, and he said, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It depends on, who gets voted in. He has 3 properties that he wants to sell, but his tax man, his attorney his accountant told him not to sell all his properties in one shot. And one of the reasons why is because they just don't know what's going to happen as far as the presidency and what's going to happen with capital gains and all of that stuff. So,
Yeah, and a good comment by Norby here. He says government should be run like a business. Government's supposed to make money for its citizens and lower prices. That's great. That's real. That's good.
yeah,
Definitely agree. You think about it, a country is just a giant business, right? They how much money have they produced? Import, export, right? They're boosting the economy. They want to see what's going on, like what's producing, what's not producing. And I lived through Trump, right? 2016, when Trump was elected. I lived through that as a real estate investor. Then through Biden, right, in 2020, and dude, it's different, man. It's like I said, it's much different. Um, Even like the 2020, after 2020, that huge spike up in hyper growth and equity out of nowhere, where
yeah,
everything, it's because I don't know, everything got delayed and then just exploded. And same thing, everything got expensive. In Florida, there was no rent control. My mom got pretty much moved out of a building, right? Her rent was, I think got. Oh, can you hear me?
You froze up for like a good 10 seconds.
Yeah, Mike, we're getting hit with another storm here, so I apologize. So yeah, her rent went up by $1,000 in like 2 years, right? Where normally it would go up maybe $100 every year, right? 100, 120. I remember my rent going up when I lived in New York. It went up like $38. I was like, oh, that's nothing, but a
Right.
$1,000, right? So people got pushed out. So I've seen that inflation too, just crush people. Um, he confirmed here in the comments. Um, damn right, it slowed down inflation and taxes and job security.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. And so, and Rebecca, who runs the title company, she just said she was busy many years. She's been doing this for, I think, like 30, 40 years. She's really been
Oh,
doing
really?
this time. Yeah, she's not somebody who's new. And she said the Trump years were the best.
Wow.
Incredible. Right.
Wow.
So now we're not seeing a one-sided perspective. Oh, as an investor, we're seeing it from title companies, and then we're seeing it from realtors also, and they all can agree that this is it. Like, so, yeah, we're looking forward to see what happens. The results, I mean, it's six
How about,
fifty.
how about, how about as a wholesaler though? Like speaking wholesale specifically, how do you feel that Trump to Biden affected your business? Like I know during Trump we had COVID, and then once everything started opening up, that's when things started to explode. And then also you were focused on the virtual portion of it because that's the only way you could really get deals done.
Yeah.
So do you think that it had to deal with all of those factors as well, as opposed to it just being Trump, Biden, better business? Because
Well,
of
don't
Trump.
forget the stimulus, right? All the stimulus, all the free checks, the free money, right? That were sent out to people to like boost the economy and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Uh, but as a wholesaler, I don't know, man. Like I said, we depend on the buyer, right, and the sellers. And what I've seen lately happen is the sellers don't. Now I'm not sure if I'm even answering your question, bro. To be honest, but the sellers don't want to sell because the interest rate's too high. The buyer doesn't want to buy because now it doesn't make sense for him to buy and hold, unless they
okay.
flip and they have a huge spread. They're like, I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna do all this thing and make $5,000 6 months down the line. It's not worth it. So it
Yeah.
really is a wholesaling business.
Okay, yeah, that does make sense, especially when it comes down to the interest rates.
Yeah, buy and hold investors. They're like, yo, 7, 8% interest rate, and then what am I gonna make? Like $20 a month on the rental property. One thing breaks, I'm screwed. Uh, Oh, look, so we have here Becky. She's from the title company. Under Jimmy Carter, I closed loans at 18% interest rates, and people were desperate. Wow, that's
Well,
unbelievable.
she's been in the game for a minute.
We're crying over here over 7% interest rates.
Yeah,
18,
right.
yeah. And Devon has a good comment here. Affordability has been crushed the past 4 years. Average age of a U.S. home buyer is 56 from 49 in 2023. Median home sales is roughly 435,000, which is about 39% increase since 2020, and mortgage rates are at 6%.
Mm,
Dude, 39% increase? That's insane.
that's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Nowadays, if I see a home that like under 200,000, I'm like, wow, like that still exists, right? Like it's a shock to me to see
Hmm.
that. Yeah, but all over the place, like you're seeing it, like to getting like who was like okay, I was speaking to one of my friends, and he was visiting California. Um, guy bought a house, I think in like 1970s, towards the 80s, $100,000, right? Like huge house on a hill. He had it appraised recently. It valued $12 million. I'm like, what? He's
Oh my
funny, bro.
god. Unreal.
12 million.
Unreal.
He's just driving a taxi for the fun of it, and he wears gloves. He has like racer gloves, and wears sunglasses at night. This guy,
Yeah. What a
yeah,
what a what a come up.
what a come up, right? But dude, 39% increase. So like for buy and hold investors, yeah, like okay, cool. Like it went up a lot. I can sell the property, make a bunch of money. Um, Granted, depends how long you hold it. You have capital gains to pay, but forget about profit. Talk about the average person who just wants to get into a home.
Right.
435,000. That's huge. Like I bought a house 435, um, and the mortgage like 3 grand. You know,
Yeah.
it's like 3,000 escrow, and you're like, wow, and that's a lot of money just to pay for that. And
Yeah.
but then what are you gonna do? You're gonna go rent somewhere and pay 2,700.
Well,
You know,
that's exactly what's happening.
because renting before was significantly lower, right? Before you could rent like a 2 bedroom for like $1,400, okay, 1,800, depends where it is, right? We're talking New York, 1,800. Now a 2 bedroom is like 2,200, 2,400 and higher. In Florida, higher,
It's like 28. I'm talking
dude,
like 28.
that's crazy. Living
Yeah.
out in New York for a little while, man. Like I said, I was paying for a 2 bedroom apartment, balcony, and a parking spot, 1,800, and I was like, oh man, you know, yeah.
Long gone are those days, brother.
In a nice neighborhood, yeah. Like so it's bad. Like before, at least the sellers would have an option. Like, you know what? I'm gonna sell the home, make some money, and then rent for a little bit, right? Because their
Right.
mortgage, let's say, was like 2,100, right? And 2,000. I'm gonna rent for 1,100, 1,200, save $800, right? Which is what is that? Like close to 9 grand a month, a year,
A year, yeah.
like 9,600. So now they can't even do that. Mortgage is 2,100, right? Rent is 2,100, and you're like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like, what do we pick?
And forget about renting a house.
Oh
Forget
yeah,
about that.
oh yeah.
Jeez.
The
Yeah.
sub twos. Oh yeah, she put the sub twos are helping some now, which is good, right? The homes that got bought in 2020, a few years before that, before the spike up, definitely, right? I checked one of my loans. I have a 2.7% mortgage.
Oh
People,
man.
whoa, man, dude, and like, and I think I refinanced. I think it was even lower. I think it was like 2% at one point.
Wow.
Free money, like it's great.
Yeah.
But now it's like 7%, 8%. So sub twos are good. So if you find anything 4% or 4.5, 5%, it still beats the bank.
Right. Right.
So investors are looking for subject to, and if you guys don't know what subject to means, subject to um, existing finances. You're doing a mortgage takeover. You continue to paying on it. How is the homeowner currently paying? And people are doing that. And from my understanding, I think it's when she mentioned Jimmy Carter was in the office and there was 18% interest rate. The due on sales clause that we hear so often, which means that if they find out that the mortgage is now being paid by another person, somebody else took over the mortgage, right? The title of the house has left. The original owner is now owned by Ilya, but it really belongs to Lenny, right? The mortgage is in Lenny's name. They could do a due on sales clause and like skip the foreclosure process and close on you. And the reason that was happening was because the same thing, the interest rates were extremely high, and people were figuring out like, why do I need to go to the bank? I'll just take over his mortgage and continue to pay. He's
Yeah.
paying, he's got a 10% or 12% mortgage. They have an 18% mortgage. People got smart, right? So they put this clause to try to prevent people from doing that as a scare tactic. I've been doing this since 2016. I've never seen a due-on clause go in effect in foreclosure. Yeah, and you could speak to investors who strictly do subject to, and they'll tell you the same. They're like, I've never seen it. It's like the boogeyman. It's there to scare you, so you don't do it. But in reality, for a bank to call a loan, it's going to be extremely hard. I think I spoke to one person, and they said like, I've heard it, and it's because the person like he resold the property multiple times while it was under like, yeah, he subject to it to another buyer so the bank then got wind of it. She said, Rebecca said, I've never seen a mortgage company do the due on sales as long as the payments are current. Exactly. Dude, the bank doesn't care who's paying it. As long as they're getting money, give me
Okay.
money, send it my way. They're happy. They don't care, right? That's all it is at the end of the day for them. It's a business. They want to make sure. For them, it costs a lot of money to foreclose to do a foreclosure, so they don't mind. We had a seller who did just that. She took over her grandma's or grandfather's property, subject to he quit claimed it to her last second, and she just continued to pay uh, the mortgage, which was I think a 2% interest rate, and we were trying to buy it subject to, but I think there were some issues with the title with the quit claim deed, where she might have committed some, something scammy against her grandfather because it was recorded, I think, like 6 months after grandfather died. So I don't know.
Unreal. Well,
Yeah,
that's one thing that I still haven't done as a subject to deal. I'm really looking forward to getting one of those deals under my belt, just so I can understand the process. Because honestly, it confuses the crap out of me.
it can be confusing, riding a unicycle while playing a harmonica and juggling. But
Yeah.
once you get a few women to it, it's just like anything else. You get used to it, you understand it more and more. The hard part is just the paperwork, I would say, is really the hard part. But Rebecca, she's in the comments here on Facebook. She knows how to do them. She's done many of them. Excellent title agent. If you need one in Florida, covers the whole state of Florida, and she's incredible. We've done sub twos with her, and many other transactions. Creative, we've done, yeah.
How
Open,
many how many sub twos are you doing a year on average, or are you
not
not
many.
really
I
doing
don't
sub?
target them, so you would have to target them. Is usually the way. I don't unless they fall in my lap. So one or two a year, but I don't target sub twos.
Right.
See, it's good to do sub twos if you're local, which for some time I was local in Florida for the few months that I lived there, and we were looking at it. We had a few properties that we're looking at to do sub twos, but once again, because the election, I said let's see what happens. I'm not sure, right?
Right.
uh, you get a property under contract sub two. It might be cash flowing, right? But your end goal eventually is to sell it off to the person renting, or as the value increases after 2 or 3 years, you have some profit in there. The problem, yeah, she said she's done 12 or 15 this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And she, so yeah, so that's why I paused. We had a few sub twos. Literally, we have people just calling us now, like, yo, if you want to do it, like they're just giving them away. And I'm like, dude, that's 3 hours away from where my house is, right? Where our office is. Doesn't make sense. Um, Before it was hard to find a sub two. Now it's like they're everywhere, and you're like, is it worth it?
Right.
Like is it worth my time to doing a sub two, making a small profit on the rental, and then continue to deal with the tenant. So, yeah, if you're going to be a landlord, I suggest they're right for residential. From experience, being local helps big time, right? Just being local. People say, "Oh no, you just management companies." Yeah, okay.
Good luck with that, right?
Look, have fun.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. Got the
Well,
t-shirt.
I think that some of these big time gurus, like that's one of the things that they always throw out there. Yeah, you got a property management company. That's
Yeah,
the way to solve your problem. And I'm not
yeah,
going to say that it always it always sucks, but for the most part, I feel like I hear more horror stories than not.
yeah. I'm good friends with owner of a management company from in Manhattan. I think they have like 15 buildings that they're running. And the first thing he told me is like, do not ever get into management. Property management's a nightmare. You have tenants, this, that, and they're very organized. And he's just like, don't deal. And he says that a lot of the companies are horrible. And I was like, all right, cool. And I was renting an office space from him. And sure enough, we went through three companies, and at the end of the day, we ended up selling the property.
Oh wow.
Tenants, evictions, leaking roof, didn't get reported. The lady got sick, started suing the company, consider possibly suing me. I was like, oh, I didn't know. I was like, I'll sue the person with you, and then she just said, no, I'll just sue them. You had no idea because every time I called you, you would answer. Dude, management companies will literally eat up the profit and they'll destroy a deal.
Yeah.
Not everything went up, right? I got the property for 130, sold it for 210, right? ARV was 280, and now last I checked, it's worth like 400 and change. But we got out of it, and we had to go through a number of evictions because once the tenants aren't happy with management, they're not paying the rent. The
Yeah.
grass is getting cut. There's garbage. There's problems. The repairs aren't getting done. They destroy deals. So that's the thing. You want to do subject to. You want to do with mortgage takeovers. Make sure the property is close enough. And if you do have a management company, make sure that it's getting done. Supervise them, right? Be like, hey, you guys told me you painted the house. I'm at the house. There's no paint. Literally, that's what we did with the property. It was upstate, Poughkeepsie, New York. 4-family, dude, for 132. Incredible.
Wow.
But we had to get rid of it. We had to
Yeah.
get rid of it.
I mean, I'm tempted to want to pick up more. I did have a multifamily, or I did have a rental in
Okay.
PA, but that was kind of involving the people that I dealt with in the past. And I have been tempted to want to pick up more properties, but I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the tenants. I don't want to deal I'd rather just wholesale. I'd
Yeah.
rather have that income come in. And I know it's a hustle. Eventually, there has to be something else that's there that's going to bring in residual income. But
Yeah.
I would rather just focus on the wholesaling.
Yeah, because the thing I lacked to understand when I was wholesaling, making money, is like, oh, I have money now to buy properties, right?
Yeah.
I could put down deposit, buy this building, get a traditional financing, what have you. Renting a property is a whole nother business. It's a whole nother business because now you're in property management business. You're no longer get it under contract, sell, and make a profit. Now you're collect rent, make sure the repairs are getting done, make sure you're in a whole different business, and people don't understand that. We're like, oh no, it's gonna be easy. Just rent it out and make money. Nope, not like that.
Not at all.
You know, I and like I said, management companies are horrible. I even have one still. I'm going back and forth in Pennsylvania. Claimed that they did the roof. I was selling the property during their inspection. The buyer did an inspection, leaking roof problem, and the city gave a violation, and they still going back and forth trying to say, no, we fixed the roof when we have city violations. So management companies can be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, got rid of got rid of that property too in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. You know, I think actually not Donald, Elon Musk was in Lancaster out of all places. I was like, well, what? For like a rally or something a couple days ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Crazy guy.
crazy,
Smart guy.
crazy.
Smart guy, but crazy guy.
Oh yeah, smart but crazy, right? Yeah, let's see, man. Eating up the profit. She said, yeah, she's done 15. So let's see, honestly, with the election at hand, who wins? This is really gonna just boost the economy. If Trump wins, we're gonna have a nice bull run for real estate, for the market. Um, you
Crypto
know,
guys.
what is it?
The crypto guys too.
Crypto guys gonna go. Yeah, they're gonna
They're
go.
gonna go crazy. They're
Yeah,
gonna go crazy, bro.
they're gonna go crazy. So let's see if that's what they're doing. People are saying, oh, they're going to steal the election to cause a civil war. There's a lot of rumors going around. We can't predict the future. We have to just accept it, right? At the end of the day, the real king is Jesus, and
That's right.
and that's it, right? So we can't do anything about it. We could pray, we could ask God, but if it happens, we got to live with it, right? We got
Yeah.
to go through it, right? So
We could vote and hope that our vote counts, but
at the end of the day, like I think there were states where all the votes got like picked the president, but then the reps were like, nope, we're picking up this person. So it's
yeah,
like, are you serious? There's 100,000 votes for I don't remember who it was. I think Al Gore, right? The public wanted Al Gore, but the reps were like, nope, Bush. They picked Bush anyways, right? And that happens multiple times. They're supposed to listen to us, but they don't.
yeah, they don't.
It's an illusion. It makes us feel good. Yeah, Jesus.
I,
Yeah.
I've yet to find somebody that could break it down for me. Like, all right, it's worth it. I haven't found one yet.
Not yet, right? Not
I
yet.
remember when I first learned about what the electoral college was when I was in social studies. I was like, wait, so how does this work? Like, how does my vote actually count if they have people that still decide based off of a percentage who it is that they should choose. And then I was just confused from then on. And I was just voting just because I thought that I had some kind of say in what it is that
Yeah.
happened in this country. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I suck at politics. This is something I don't talk about much.
Yeah. Same here. Same. Yeah, exactly. I'm horrible at politics. Like I
Yeah,
don't. Not I don't understand it. I just don't agree how it makes sense for.
yeah, yeah,
I'm happy. I love America. It's definitely the best country in the world. Just because you love America doesn't mean you can't disagree with people who are, in office or maybe corrupt or doing things that are horrible. That's
yeah.
our right. That's our rights as Americans to say, you know what, that's not right. Right? We the people, we stand up to tyranny. So
How many conversations have you had to avoid dealing with the election while doing this business recently? Within like the past.
on the phones, you mean like when we're reaching out
Yeah,
sellers?
yeah.
Oh man. Well, you know what, dude? The few times I was speaking to sellers, they're like, oh man, if Trump wins, I'm gonna sell this house. Like they're just like, yeah, it's all politics. But
Yeah.
everyone I seem to speak to, they're just like they're all like looking for Trump. So like I've seen a poll of like Kamala and Trump, and I'm like, how are they getting this numbers? Like everyone you see is really just speaking about Trump. They want Trump. They want Trump. Even people like I used to vote Kamala. I used to be Democrat. Now I'm voting. Um, I'm voting Republican. Like I don't agree everything what Donald Trump says and acts, but his policies are there. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's pro-life. He doesn't want abortion. He wants the economy to get better. He's got good values. Like
Right.
some Christians will be like, "Yo, I agree with his values." I
Yeah.
don't know the way he acts or talks. No, but and I'm like, that makes sense.
And whether it's an act or not, it's still something that he's putting out there rather than guaranteeing
Yeah,
certain other things, which I'm not
yeah,
going to get.
exactly. So yeah. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. It's because it's been such a hectic year. I think this year, I think it was like 38 countries or 238 countries were like having an election. It was like something crazy all over the
Oh,
world.
really?
Fell on like the election year all over like the world,
Oh, wow.
almost every country, which can't not be a coincidence. I really don't believe it.
No, it's not.
You know what's crazy, dude? I just saw on actually Facebook, since we're on Facebook. Um, in Thailand, they ran a 6-month program for um, giving people, what is that called? Like just allowance, just for living, like $240, which is big money in Thailand for 6 months. And they're like, we paid $14 million to people, and everybody was happy, but they weren't allowed to buy tobacco, alcohol, or certain things. It was for their groceries and all that, but it sustained their basic needs, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, Elon Musk talked about it one time also. He was like, oh, I feel like there's going to be so much people and not enough work. Eventually we're going to have to get everybody just on like payroll, that they just get to sit around. Yeah, exactly. They get to just sit around. And
What is it? What the person said?
she said new world order crap. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
So you get to sit around, collect the paycheck, but everything, you just got to waive your rights, right? That's where it comes down to. Yep, keep us under the thumb. You know,
Yeah.
so
Sad.
it's unfortunate. So it's like it's kind of scary too. Like that's where like if you go a little deeper. I know it's supposed to be a real estate thing, and it kind of is. It falls into it because like Trump is gonna, if he gets elected, well, this dude is backing him up. The same dude that kind of brought up as an idea, right? The same guy who said, I don't know what he said. I just saw Dr. Jordan Peterson, with him talking about it. He was like, "Oh, the new religion is going to come out of what was it, like Nebraska?" And it turns out that, like that's where his AI robots are like being manufactured, and that
Oh,
same.
Lord. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Here we go.
I mean, either way, people need to have God on their side, man.
Brother,
Because
this is the time you need God. Like this is the time we need to have Jesus. Like and I don't
yeah,
say God like, oh, because there's too many small little G gods. We need Jesus, right? The only true way. And I think the people need to really wake up and to see the craziness, that the end time prophecies that are playing out. Um, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so we could wrap up with this, man. You know, that is probably the best way to wrap up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
One king, and his name is Jesus Christ, right? Doesn't
That's
matter who
it.
wins, doesn't matter who loses. It's going to affect us. Absolutely, it's going to affect us, right? But even through hope, tough times and disparity, we have to have Jesus is the only way. Amen. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I created a post. What was it? The day before yesterday, and I was like, there's so many people out there that are willing to hang their Kamala flag and hang their Trump flag and talk politics on the internet and argue back and forth. But I'd never see people go that hard for Christ. Never.
Yeah. My brother actually posted his ballot. He said he went to vote, and he checked the box and wrote Jesus. He's like, I voted for Jesus. I'm like, oh, that's
That's
funny.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm like,
Yeah.
there we go. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
not voting for them, but I'm voting for Jesus. And
Yeah.
obviously true, yeah, Jesus, but his time
Yeah.
is not yet, right? I mean, he's coming like a thief at night. We don't know when he's coming, so you got to be ready.
That's right.
You got
That's
to be
right.
ready, guys.
And you know what? We've been talking about accountability. We've been talking about on here and in our group. And one part of me getting better at holding myself accountable is me waking up early and just spending time with Christ. Spending
Mm.
time with God, and that's helping with my wholesale business right now. As far as getting more leads coming in and just having more of a focused mind. So if I would have be focusing on Kamala and focusing on Trump, none of that would
Distractions, yeah, brother. Everything is a distraction because it's taking you
happen.
away from Jesus.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
put
So
seek kingdom first, right? Seek the kingdom first. Put it first, and everything else will be added onto you. So you're
yeah,
doing it right. You wake up, first thing, the kingdom,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
word, right, and then everything else comes secondary.
Well, the
Yeah.
thing is, I feel like everybody needs an idol of some sort, and this has been the distraction of. This has been distraction of the past 2 years or so. So
Yeah. 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 She's saying, Becky's like, God helps me deal with crazy people. Yeah, she's a Christian too. She's awesome.
oh
I yeah, they pray with her workers too, which is awesome. We do a daily prayer at the office also. Um, and that's it. God is the way, man. It's just the only way. I actually have another live that we're going to be doing, which is kind of new segment that we're starting on Tuesday. Going to be going live with Justin, um, doing the real talk, the real Bible talk, um, the real Scripture talk, and we're going to be going just deep. You know, for people who are lost, just going live. We're going to be reading comments. We're going to be answering questions. And of course, too, the Thursday Bible studies. We're just incorporating everything in this one, man. This is your
yeah,
for honest. At the end of the day, Jesus is our core value, right? Like he's number one for us. We love real estate. Real estate's amazing. It gives you financial freedom. It gives you freedom, opportunity, flexibility. It gets you out away from the 9 to 5, which is incredible. It's a blessing of God. But at the end of the day, right? If you're looking at myself, you're looking at Lenny, like how they're successful. They're following God. Like that's part of the success, right?
right. Yeah,
Right.
that's. I mean, I would not be here doing this full time if it wasn't for God.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's,
Right.
that's what it boils down to. And every day that I doubt myself or I feel like things might be a little slow or I'm in a funk, it's just like I think of how many other people wish that they could be home with their family doing what it is that would fulfill them.
Exactly. Right. It says, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose their soul?"
Yeah, yeah. Listen, man, I like real estate, but I could talk about God. You know, I can talk. I know you could talk about God all day.
Well, jump into the next live that we're going to be doing. So I could bring you on too.
Yeah.
Or just
Well,
drop some comments, drop some hearts.
well, I actually have a call with one of my brothers from my men's group,
Amen.
and speaking about that, I'm part of this men's group, and throughout the week we have maybe like 6 members altogether. So throughout the week, we have to do check-ins with one another just to see where we stand. And
Okay.
sometimes that go from 15 minutes to an hour and a half to 2 hours sometimes. But
Man.
it's just about checking in with one another and making sure that we're good, and then talking about God and Christ as well, and then we meet with each other every Saturday. And I think eventually on a live, I want to speak a little bit more about the men's group and what it entails, and just how so many people that are involved in law enforcement are, kind of in shackles and pertaining to what it was or what it is that I would like to speak about.
Amen.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, brother. So I would love to maybe next episode, next segment, we can touch base on that.
Yeah, yeah, I would love to. I would love to, man, because it's very powerful, and the things that I'm learning right now, it's like I kind of feel bad that there's a lot of people that never come across it, and um, then there's some that have come across it way too late. So,
Yeah.
but it's better late than never, especially for our salvation and for our family.
Some George Castillo said, "What do you guys think on trying rentals while whistling as well?" I
About
don't
what?
know. Whistling. That's funny.
I don't
I think
know.
he's just he's dropping a. Yeah, whistling is good, man. It's good for the soul. You can whistle and get rentals. Gotta wear multiple hats, my friend.
Uh,
And whistling is one of them. That's a good one. Yeah, bro. Yeah, but definitely we got to speak up on the men's whole. Oh, he meant wholesaling. All right, there we go. Well, actually, George, wholesaling and rentals. Yes, I did speak about it briefly, but I will mention this: wholesaling is one business, rentals is another business. What happens if you start building a rental portfolio? It could take you away from your wholesaling business, and now going from finding deals, speaking to motivate sellers. Now you're going to be jumping back in to, going to the property, calling handyman and plumbers and everybody else to take care of it. It can get ugly, right? And finding a good property management is really hard. I've heard of some investors building out their own and hiring just one person. Her job is to qualify everybody in the area as the best plumber, best lawyer, best person, and then if anything comes up, doing that. But that's what I said. They have a whole other department for for rentals. So yeah, you can find them really highly discounted, but it's just you got to switch hats and you're doing it. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. You can do it. It just depends where you want to focus. Like I focus on wholesaling, Lenny focus on wholesaling, right? We
that's
really
right.
can focus just on one thing, right? Without we're being hyper focused. Because then I've done it. I've had rentals, flips, and wholesaling going on, and then it gets messy. It gets really messy. You're running to the project, make sure the contractors are doing there. Now you're running to the house to make sure. When I lived in Pennsylvania, that's what I was doing. You're making sure like the tenants is okay, like any repairs that need to get done. He didn't pay the rent. Now you got to go find out what's going on, right? Oh, management company. Oh yeah, you call the management company. They're like, I don't know. I don't have the answer. So then you go and find out. It's a lot, right? It's a
Yeah.
lot. So definitely, yeah. He said makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, brother. Feel free to catch us next week. I have to hop off. I have another live that we're going to be doing in about 4 more minutes, and it's going to be a Bible talk about Jesus. If you don't know Jesus, I think it'll be awesome for you guys to listen in. We're going to be talking about the goodness of God, what He has done in our lives, and why we believe He is King. All right.
Amen.
God bless everybody here. Thank you guys for joining another call with the Finest Purpose podcast. We'll see you guys. And as always, I want to see you guys win.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you for joining. And we'll see you next week, 6:30, same day, same time. Be well. All right, brother. See you on
Bye.
that call. I'll try to